Hey, Sunshine Boatwright here with Ask Sunshine. Yeah, Ask Sunshine. I'm Sunshine Boatwright, spiritual alchemist from sunshineboatwright.com. And I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. If you're here watching live, then go ahead and say hey so I know you're here. And we're coming to you via Ecamm Live, and I'm just answering that question now because I get that a lot. Like, what do you use to go live from your desktop? And you can use Facebook natively, like they have a native way for you to do it from the platform to go live. But I actually use Ecamm Live Beta, and there's a difference between the two. So today I had a question come in actually late last night, and the person wished to remain anonymous. And if you guys don't know, like the Google form that I use to get questions submitted here to the show, I do give you the option to let me know at the end of the question if you wish to remain anonymous, and this person did. And so I honor that. I honor the request of my viewers. Okay, so they wanted to know, what do you do? Meaning, what do I, Sunshine Boatwright, do personally in my business when a client doesn't pay? Or what can you do basically as a business owner if a client doesn't pay? And I used to have a very different take on this than I do now. So I'm going to give you what that old take used to be. I'm going to give you the catalyst for my take on that switching, and then I'll let you know what my new take on that is, okay? So my old take was that if a client didn't pay, that I didn't want to put the time and energy into hunting them down. I didn't want to sit there and bug people. Like, I had that feeling that I was bugging someone. I didn't want to put that type of energy out there. And I don't mean it coming from like a lazy standpoint. I just came from it from the perspective of, well, I can just generate that income that makes up for that anyway. So it's not really that big a deal, right? That was my old mindset on it. And what had happened was one of my teachers, someone that I learned from, someone whose program I went through, and some of you may have heard of him or heard me mention him before. His name is Todd Herman. He's a high performance coach, peak performance coach, and mentor. And one of the things that he talked about in the course of doing one of his programs was, talking about when people copy your work. And he's like, no, if somebody steals my stuff, I'm going to go after them. It's going to get, litigious, basically. And it made me think about the whole way, like the overall scope of how I approach things in my business. And the way that I was approaching it before was like the whole love and light way. And yes, I am a spiritual business owner. That being said, there is an energetic exchange that happens when someone signs a contract saying that you provide this service and I'm going to pay you X amount of money, right? And what I realized both through his statement, because number one, if you are a serious business owner and you provide a service or a product or a deliverable, like a delivery on a thing, and then you deserve to be compensated for it as a business, because that's what a business is. A business has a monetary form of compensation, because if you're not being paid for what you do, it's a hobby, or you're running a charity. And even charities have income coming in because that's how they keep the doors open. So that was the eye opener for me. And like I said, when he said that, it wasn't even based on whether or not your clients pay you. When Todd Herman said that, it was based on if your clients steal your things. But because of the course of doing like his whole entire thing that I was doing at the time, it just really hit home for me about, if I really wanted others to take my business seriously as a business, then I needed to own that side of it as well, and be able to say that, no, you made a commitment, you need to honor it. And so that's what I've switched to. I've switched from letting it go and not really caring to you need to honor it. So there's a couple of different things that you can do. One of the things that I do in my business is I do reach out to people, or I have my assistant reach out to people really, and give them the opportunity to help the client make it right. And I believe as business owners, it's not our responsibility per se to coddle our clients and our customers, but if we have it within our capabilities to try to make things a win-win situation, then we can do that, right? So that I do that first, and I do that more than once. There's more than one touch point between them not paying and the next thing. And then the next thing is, if after a certain amount of time, and you can Google this, but if after a certain amount of time, because you would set your own parameters, it could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, anything more than 90 days from everything that I've researched into and had my assistant look into as well, is that after 90 days, it just gets a little harder. It's not impossible to start the collections process, but it's just the closer it is to the event, and 90 days being like the 60 to 90 days being the norm window, the easier it is for them on their end, for the collection people to work on getting you your money. The other thing, because we know that sometimes a collection agency can put the collections out there and still you don't get paid. The other thing that I would then advise is to speak with your accountant when you're doing your taxes and make sure that you can, make sure you know the ins and outs for your state, your business, all of that, if you can count it as a loss. And while that's not a perfect scenario, it's still doable. It still works, right? And the reason that I say that is because, let's be honest, the collections agency in general is a booming business across especially the US, because the US has so much debt. I have friends from Canada that cannot even begin to fathom the amount of debt that Americans take on. So we know that not everybody pays their debts, right? The other side of that is just knowing your options. Like, you want to know your options, so look that up. And when you're looking it up, because you're going to need to Google it for yourself, because you might not be in the US, you might be in Canada and watching this, because I have some people in Canada that watch the things here on this page and on my YouTube channel. And the thing of it is you want to know specifically what you can do for you. What I will tell you is this: the parameters, the search parameters that we used when we looked it up was collection agencies for small businesses, and then collection agencies for entrepreneurs. And there are a few different ones that come up at the top that basically let you know what their rates are and what businesses are best suited. Like, if you're making X amount of dollars per year, you can go with this one. If you're making this amount of dollars per year, you can go with that one. So there are options available to you as the entrepreneur for recouping the money that should have already been paid to you if you had that contract. And that's the other thing that, it didn't state in the question whether or not there was already a contract in place. And that's my PS at the end, is make sure that when you're signing on clients, you're getting a contract signed. And that is to protect you in cases like this when a client doesn't pay. I hope that makes sense, and I hope it was helpful. I hope that the person who asked the question makes sure to take the time to watch this or see the replay or have joined us live. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell on Ecamm, but if you have any other questions, if you have further business questions, and they can be answered in a 10 to 15 minute time span, because that's the max for this show is 15 minutes, then go ahead and send them into www.sunshineboatright.com/asksunshine. And it was my pleasure to serve you in this respect. I hope you have a wonderful evening and the rest of your week. If you're catching the replay, again, thank you for joining us. Say hey below. And let me know, if you're watching this video, if it was helpful to you, if things of this nature are helpful to you in your business. And I hope everybody has a great night. I love you guys to pieces. Bye.